What's up, guys? We are here September 18th, checking out the BSLT price, and let's talk about what's been going on with the token and Archeworld in general. So refreshed here, it is still 10 cents, 10.5 cents right there. So this has been pretty much the bottom of the token price for the last week or two, this 10 cents. It may have dipped occasionally down into the 9, but it hasn't really gone much lower. So this is what you can say, there's support at the 10-cent range. But once that support breaks, I think we go down, 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 and I do think the token is going to be continued in a downward spiral for some time in the near future because they have reintroduced the blue salt stars. So one of the big things that they did this last week to help stabilize the economy and the tokens and so forth was they reintroduced blue salt stars. They gave you stars for 3,000 red archium at 14,000 gear score and 17,000 gear score. So they took those away several weeks back. Now they brought a couple of them back. And then there's also blue salt stars for 1,500 blue archeum at 14,000, 15,000, 16,000, 17,000, 18,000, 19,000, etc. So as you go up 1,000 each one. But then they also buffed it recently, so it's like 17.5 gets one, 18.5 gets one, 19.5 gets one. So they're still reliant on these blue salt stars to earn in-game. And this is a terrible, terrible decision by XL Games. This is a huge band-aid fix that does not fix the core issue where they need to have engaging content in the game. So with them using these stars, that means more and more blue salt is going to be pumped into the game world economy, and players are going to be cashing that out, running for the exit. If they took out the blue salt stars, there's that pain temporarily. The prices would adjust because it's a player-run economy, right? And then they would stabilize at a point, and then you might actually have an increase in the token price. But as of now, there's really very few burning mechanisms in the game. The only real burning mechanism that the game has is when things are bought and sold on the auction house. XL Games gets 10% cuts, and they say they burn a specific amount of that token, of that cut. So say they got 10 tokens from a sale of a 100 BSLT item. Now they would burn, say, 2 tokens. But that's the only burn. Everything else is continuously circulating in the game, and more BSLT is constantly being unlocked via weekly rewards, the arena rankings, the gear score rankings, now the new vocation score rankings, which are there, and then also now the blue salt stars is constantly unlocking new BSLT. So this just means that there's more and more BSLT tokens in the world every single day, constantly diluting the supply. And that's not good for the price. The price will continuously go down until the tokens stop flowing into the world, which if someone comes into the game too and they want to buy tokens, those are new tokens that are brought into the game economy. There's just so many new tokens. Essentially, when we started the game, there was only about 1 million tokens, maybe 2 million tokens that were in this circulating supply. Now, about 1 year later, we probably have around 10 million tokens circulating supply. So the circulating supply has dramatically increased, and those numbers are made up slightly. We do know originally in the beginning there was around 1.5 to 2 million tokens. I don't know currently exactly how many tokens there are in the circulating supply. You can go over to the Bora scope and you can check and run through wallets and see all this information and kind of make a better guess on all this to figure out how many tokens. Because that's the cool thing with the blockchain technology is everything is transparent and you can see what's going on there. But this is just a generalization to give you an idea that essentially there was 2 million tokens in the beginning, and now 1 year later we have 10 million tokens floating around. So that's why you see the price down from, over time. The crazy thing in my mind, though, is that the token price has not got lower than, the 3 cents, which they started at. So if you look at, if they had a chart, right, it would start at 3 cents and then it would have spiked up almost to $1 and now down to 10 cents. So the token is still above that beginning initial supply. It hasn't actually decreased from the very start of the game, which is kind of crazy with all the new supply. They do have staking mechanisms in this game, which lock some of the tokens up for a while. Like when you buy a house and you rent a house and things like that, you have to stake tokens to get the house design. Or if you unlock the Arc Life Pass, you have to stake tokens to get those benefits. The Arc Pass also is a staking mechanism that you put in tokens and you then get it back once you're done. So all these staking mechanisms help to, lock up some tokens for a little bit. But why the price is going down now is because a lot of the houses and people are abandoning their houses, cashing out their house designs, and selling the tokens again. Because they're like, well, the game's going down, the game is not doing good, we weren't happy with the Ocean update, and there's really no profit to be made in houses. So people are abandoning their houses, and we're seeing this in the last several weeks. And I think this trend continues until they increase the output that houses give, or this is a big one, and people I don't think realize that if they increase the amount of Archeum shards that the world produces, then houses will actually become more profitable. The pure Archeum, the red Archeum that is finalized after making it in the house, could go down a little bit, but in general, if the Archeum shards go down to say like 1 or 2 BSLT for 10,000, and you sell 10,000 completed Archeum for 30 or 35 BSLT, your profit margin is significant. The reason right now houses aren't profitable is because the shards are currently around 18, 19 BSLT, and the 10,000 completed Archeum is right around 35 to 40 BSLT. So most of your profit is actually tied together to those shards. Like, it's a great time for free-to-play players to go and farm the ancestral monsters and get these shards and sell them. But it's not a good time for house landowners who want to simply process and make money off the houses. You can make more money by making blue Archeum, right? So instead of converting it at red Archeum, you can go up to blue Archeum and get a little bit more return, but it does cost some more items, and it's more, expensive to get that start up. And people that had lots and lots of houses, like myself, for example, who had, 50 houses, couldn't actually process all that stuff. They didn't want to put that much extra money into every single house, so we decided to just chop off some of the houses, and instead of having 50 houses, we have 25 houses or 20 houses. You cut off a lot of houses and then reinvest in the current houses, and you go from there. So that is essentially also why the housing market is seeing a massive change. Also, the housing market is very slow to change. The prices of the rent will actually decrease because less and less people are renting houses, but it's on a monthly cycle. So a rentals period in Archeworld is 28 days. So for anything to actually change in the rental prices for XL Games properties, it's going to have to take at least 1 or 2 full rental cycles of 28 days. So it's going to take around 56 days probably for things to kind of stabilize and find a true actual house price that is affordable for the renters and can actually make them profit, and then it will slowly tick back up. Currently, we're seeing like mediums sell for or rent for around like 180, 190 BSLT. We're seeing smalls rent for around 100 BSLT. Surprisingly, we're seeing a little bit of larges and extra larges still rent for a decent amount. I believe larges are around like 250 to 350, and then extra larges I have rented actually a couple of them for 550, which is the lowest that they can go. So that is quite surprising right there. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of time for this all to work itself out, and people are very, very impatient, which is you get the panic sellers, you get the people that are screaming and yelling their heads off that the game is dying and that things are going to hell. Well, it's not. It's just going to take time for things to process, and also every week XL Games is going to be tweaking and adjusting things. We already heard from them this week saying that they are going to adjust the blue Archeum out, production costs, like the recipes are going to cost more blue Archeum. They're going to change recipe resources and take away the Shadowgun crystals for the most part and make it cost more blue Archeum to create boats and things like that. So we have to see what kind of adjustments. If it's a super major adjustment, what are the simplest way to me would be just add a 0 on all of the blue Archeum cost, right? So if it costs 1,000 blue Archeum now, just add a 0, make it cost 10,000. So, things like that. If it costs 100,000, make it cost 1 million. And then, of course, decrease the Shadowgun crystals So we've seen Shadowgun crystals go down a little bit in price. We haven't seen blue archium go up yet because we don't know what the recipes are. If they simply double the recipe cost, if it used to cost 1,000 and now it costs 2,000, that's really not going to do too much. We also do need consumables, things that just go away after you use them. Those things are great item and resource sinks, and they need to lean more on those. But they haven't figured that out yet. I've been yelling at them and screaming at them and telling them that they need more consumables that are good and that can burn resources efficiently. I think they just need to go and study like Ultima Online and see what has worked for that game for 25 years to see how the economy has flowed and worked. And once they follow something like that, they just need to follow the resource model that like an older game that has used, this kind of play to earn aspect in there has done, and realize they need more consumables, they need more item sinks. There needs to be a lot of bad choices in the game, things where burn your items, burn your resources. People are already talking about like, well, hey, the ghost ships are not profitable to kill. And that's probably correct, right? You shouldn't have everything being profitable. Things should be like a mistake to do. And yes, the ghost ships are supposed to be fun and exciting, but they're really just there, in my opinion, to lock up the Kraken. The Kraken should be the most valuable battle in the game, and it should give a crazy amount of resources, a crazy amount of items, things that are exclusive to the Kraken. We see that already, that there's Kraken souls in the game that can drop from the Kraken. We have Kraken tentacles, which we don't know what they drop. They probably just give blue archium, which is kind of a mistake there. But the Kraken needs to have the best items, and it needs to be a challenge. The ghost ships are just the gatekeepers to the Kraken. So, of course, the ghost ships shouldn't be that profitable. It should be just like it's a chore that you need to do to unlock the Kraken, and then you send out your war fleet to attack the Kraken. And then, of course, other players will attack you while you're fighting the Kraken and try to defend the Kraken, try to steal some of the loot. What I see the Kraken being would be a massive battle that when it dies, it drops like 500 trade packs. And those trade packs turn in for, I would personally like Shadowgun crystals. I would personally like each trade pack turning in for, like, say, a purple Shadowgun crystal, because if you do that, that will decrease the Shadowgun crystal prices, and then that will encourage more people to gear up, I think. And then we, of course, need more stronger monsters in the ocean, in the sea. We need Ancestral 15, we need Ancestral 20s, we need Ancestral 25s even in the sea, because how I feel the game should be designed is there should always be harder challenges for players to compete against. Because right now we have up to tier 7 weapons and armor, right? But there's no reason to make a character have even higher than really tier 5 weapons or armor. Like, literally the only reason to make your gear stronger is to fight other players. And yes, PvP does happen a little bit, but you can easily avoid PvP for the most part. So that means the only reason to have your gear is to fight the monsters. So the monsters need to be very challenging. And the easiest way to do this is to have higher level ancestral monsters that require a high level combat power to actually hit and fight them. Of course, you would want to make the monsters fun and engaging, but that's a story for a different time, and that's a different problem. The monsters definitely should be fun and engaging, but even if you can't make them fun and engaging, you just give them basic monsters and make them very hard to hit and make them hit very, very difficult. Make them also dangerous to boats, where they can kill boats that are floating around in the ocean. And then they could also potentially drop trade packs. They could drop more of the Archeum shards, which would be a way to decrease the Archeum value, because you would want to get stronger to go farm Archeum shards in mass quantities, and then go take that to your house and plug it in there and get stronger, or sell it to other players and so forth. So giving out a better reward for people that have invested in their characters and that are actually playing the game. Also, with the ocean being 100% war, where there's no peace cycles, it is incredibly difficult to bot in the ocean. And if you have the long spawn time, like they've done with the current monsters in the ocean, it works out great. Like if they have a 5 or 10 minute spawn time on these basic grunt monsters, a bot would sit in the ocean and float and be like, okay, I'm going to attack this monster. And then he'd kill one, right? And then 5 minutes would go by, and then you'd get to fight the next one. Like, that's not very efficient at all. During that 5 minute period, somebody's probably going to sail by or swim by in a boat and see you and be like, hey, there's someone to kill. I want to kill them because this is a PvP war game. And if you just see someone sitting floating in the ocean, why wouldn't you kill him? You know, like, hey, why not? Let's go kill the guy. It's fun. I'm going to go kill this guy. And, you know, so that's what I think. That's what I hope happens. We will see. Every week there's going to be new and different updates coming. So we'll see what they do. But yeah, if you have suggestions, post it in the Discord. Post it down in the comment section here. Discord is the best. That's where Excel Games actually looks and reads the comments. But if you post it down here in the comment section, I can then pass that comment on to the Discord for you. So I will talk to you guys later. I do think that the BSLT price is still going to keep going down. I am still buying tokens. I'm still buying assets in the game. I still believe that the future of the game is good and that I'm going to be playing this game for many, many years. You know, I've said before I want to be playing this game for 3 to 5 years, and I still see myself doing that. The only game that I am looking forward to in the next, couple of years is Ashes of Creation, and that is still far, far away from being ready. And even when it is ready, it's probably going to be a complete shit show because they've been in alpha for almost 10 years now, and it just, they're trying too many things, and brand new company, never made a game, and game development's hard, so my expectations are very, very low on that game, and fingers crossed that it works out and does well. But yeah, so the next game I'll be playing will be Ashes of Creation, and hopefully that is good. We'll also be testing it out during Alpha 2, whenever that comes. So we'll see. Several other games do look decent, but like Blue Protocol and like Throne and Liberty, I've heard different things. I've heard Throne and Liberty is like an autoplay game, which is just terrible. Blue Protocol I haven't heard much about, so hopefully that game is good. It looks amazing, and the anime, style MMORPG would be really, really fun and cool to play, I think. So it all depends on how the gameplay is, though. So we'll see. But yeah, I do plan on, maining Archeworld for several years, and I am not going away anytime soon. I may take some breaks, though. There's definitely no problem with taking breaks from playing the game and interacting and things like that. We do have a vacation coming up, so we'll be gone most of October. But other than that, I'll still be around. I'll still be checking on the news, still be buying assets, and I am waiting for 5 cents still on the token. 5 cents will buy more tokens, buying more assets. Like land prices are incredibly cheap right now, the land NFTs. So we're looking to pick up some of those guys, increase my land NFT collection. I think I have about 75 land NFTs right now. Definitely have a lot of those, but I do want more and more. I'm just definitely, enjoying collecting those things, and, fingers crossed, hoping for the future that the prices of those things go up. But if not, no big deal. It is all fun and games for me. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching and have fun. I'll see you later.